This won't go viral. It'll find the one it's meant for. You, the one who's been silent lately. Not because you don't have something to say, but because you're too tired of repeating yourself to a world that doesn't listen. You've been strong for too long, calm while burning, present but distant, smiling but only out of habit now. This isn't just a phase, it's that quiet shift when something in you refuses to die, but also doesn't know how to live like this anymore. And maybe no one around you sees it, but I do, because I've been there. And if this message found you now, it's not an accident. Something inside you is ready, ready for the words that remind you who you are, not who the world trained you to be. You wake up, but it doesn't feel like waking up. It's more like returning to the weight, not just on your chest, on your mind, your back, your future. Each breath feels like you're negotiating with gravity, just to move through another day that looks just like the last. You check your phone, scroll through lives that seem lighter, people smiling, achieving, running faster than you. And even though you know it's all curated, some part of you whispers, why does it still get to me? It's not envy, it's not bitterness, it's exhaustion of having to constantly recalibrate your worth in a world that measures success by noise. Because when you're built to carry heavy things, no one checks if it's too heavy. They assume you've got it covered, and maybe you do. But just because you can carry it doesn't mean you should have to. The strong are often mistaken for indestructible. That illusion, it isolates you. You become the one everyone leans on, but never the one anyone checks in on. There's a version of you that's been drowning quietly for years, showing up to work, smiling at dinner, replying, "I'm good" when asked. And yet you haven't felt good in how long? You've worn so many masks, you've forgotten what your real face looks like. And some nights when the world finally quiets down, you feel the weight pressing on your chest. Not because you're weak, but because you've been too strong for too long. You don't need pity, you need truth. And here it is. Strong people break too. Disciplined minds spiral too. And the ones who seem most in control often aren't. But the difference between you and the rest, you kept going, even when it was unfair, even when no one noticed, even when it felt like it wouldn't matter. That's not weakness, that's quiet power. That's the kind of strength no one claps for, but it's the kind that shapes destiny. You stayed in the fire. You didn't look for exits. You endured the silence, the self-doubt, the invisible battles. So if today feels heavy, remember you've lifted worse. And you didn't just survive, you evolved. You are not behind, you're becoming. And this chapter, it might be dark, but it is not the end. It's the forge. There comes a moment in life where everything just stops, not outside, but inside. You wake up, do the same things, see the same faces, go to the same places, but something's missing. You can't explain it. You're not sad, not exactly. You're just blank, like your soul is buffering. And that silence is loud. You could be surrounded by people and still feel like you're disappearing. You laugh, but it doesn't hit your chest. You speak, but no one really hears you. You post, but no one really sees you. And the scary part, you've stopped expecting anyone to. This is the breaking point. It doesn't look dramatic, it looks quiet. You keep showing up, you keep doing your job, answering messages, being fine, but inside you're crumbling and no one notices because you've mastered the art of performing while falling apart. But here's what no one tells you. That silence is a message. That numbness is a signal. It means something deeper is waking up inside you. You're not broken, you're shedding. You've been wearing a mask for too long, saying yes to things that drain you, chasing goals that never belong to you, smiling through disrespect. And now your mind, your body, your soul, they're all revolting. The breakdown is the body's last attempt to save you, to stop you from becoming someone you're not, to pull you back to who you were always meant to be. This pain, it's not your enemy. It's the wake-up call you've been avoiding. Most people suppress it, numb it, scroll through it. But if you're brave enough to sit with it, to ask it what it wants, you'll find something else buried beneath it. The power to rewrite everything, to finally look in the mirror and say, this version of me, he's done. I'm done pretending. I'm done shrinking. Let the silence break you open. Let the breakdown burn away what you're not. Because what comes next is real, is raw, is you. Life doesn't just teach through textbooks. The real education, it happens in silence, in shadows, in suffering. There's a hidden curriculum no one warns you about. And unless you've been cracked open by life, you'll never see it. See, the people who've been through hell, they don't just become wise, they become aware. They stop chasing what the world says is success. They start hunting for what actually matters. They stop trying to be liked. They start becoming respected by themselves. Because the real lessons aren't written on a board. They're carved into your back with failure, betrayal, loss, and loneliness. And here's what they teach. 1. Not everyone who claps for you wants you to win. Some people applaud just to get close enough to sabotage you. If you don't learn to read energy, you'll confuse envy for friendship, attention for loyalty, familiarity for trust. 2, your peace is more expensive than any paycheck. The job, the status, the followers, none of it means a damn thing. If you have to trade your mental health to keep them, you'll learn to walk away from things that drain you, even if they once defined you. 3, no one is coming to save you. That's not bleak. That's liberation. Once you accept that you are the hero you've been waiting for, you stop begging and start building. And that's when your life changes. 4, charisma without boundaries is a curse. People will love your light, but try to control it. Until you become comfortable disappointing people, you'll never become who you were born to be. And most of all, 5, pain is the tuition for deep perception. It strips away the noise. It sharpens your instincts. It reveals who's real and who just showed up for the highlight reel. The world teaches surface. Pain teaches substance. You can't fake the kind of depth that comes from breaking and rebuilding. You either earned it or you didn't. And once you see life this way, you realize everything that broke you was secretly trying to build you. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. There's a moment. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It's quiet, subtle, but permanent. It's the moment you stop looking outside yourself for answers and start hearing the voice within. Not the voice of fear, not the one shaped by guilt, shame, or approval addiction. No, the voice that was buried beneath all the noise, the one that says, this is who you are, this is where you're going, and no one can stop you. When this moment hits, your posture changes, not physically, energetically. You stop shrinking in rooms that don't value you. You stop over-explaining your silence. You stop negotiating your standards to keep people comfortable. Because you finally realize what they never told you. The most powerful man in the room isn't the loudest, richest, or most liked. He's the one who needs nothing from anyone. That kind of independence is rare and terrifying to those who can't control you. You see, when you don't need their validation, you become unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you're untouchable. That's when people start asking, what changed? Why does he feel different? They can't quite put their finger on it, but they feel it. The calm, the certainty, the storm you're no longer afraid to carry inside. This moment, when it all clicks, is when the game begins to bend in your favor. Because now, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you decide. You don't fear loss, you understand alignment. You don't compete, you dominate quietly. But here's the twist. This moment never finds people who keep running from their reflection. It only comes when you've sat with your truth long enough that the lies no longer stick. That's when clarity hits like lightning. That's when your walk gets heavier, your words get fewer, and your presence speaks volumes. This is not about arrogance. It's about arriving fully into your own life. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs men who have returned to themselves. Men who aren't trying to be liked. Because they've learned to respect themselves in silence. This is the moment that finds you. But only after you've survived what was meant to destroy you. And when it finds you, you'll never unsee it again. One day your world will split open. Not metaphorically, literally. The call you didn't expect. The silence that suddenly means everything. The plan that unravels at the worst possible moment. And as you stand there staring at the pieces, you'll realize something. Nobody is coming to hold you up. This is where most people fall apart. Not because they're weak, but because they were never taught how to be still in the face of chaos. They cling, they chase, they numb. They reach for distractions, for people, for anything that promises relief. But the ones who rise, the ones who transform into something unstoppable, do the opposite. They turn inward. They hold the line. See, emotional strength is not about avoiding pain. It's about sitting inside it without letting it decide who you are. It's the quiet war between your instincts and your principles, your impulse to react and your discipline to wait. And every time you choose stillness over noise, patience over panic, self-respect over comfort, you become harder to shake. And people feel it, even when you don't say a word. Because there's a calm that doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from no longer needing to. It comes from trusting that you've built something inside yourself stronger than anything life can throw at you. And that's terrifying to some. They'll call you cold, detached, too quiet. Let them. They don't understand that what looks like silence is control. The world gives power to those who don't beg for it. And if you can look chaos in the face and keep your center, you become the rarest kind of person, grounded, present, immune to emotional manipulation. You stop being a slave to every trigger, every insult, every high and low. You stop over-explaining. You stop seeking permission. You simply stand while others scramble. So when life shakes, don't flinch. Let it roar. Let the noise rise around you. You don't rise by controlling the storm. You rise by remembering you are the storm, anchored, focused, silent, and unbreakable. There's someone out there right now who needs you to win. They've never met you. They don't know your name, but something in their future is tied to the battle you're fighting in silence today. A word you'll say, a book you'll write, a business you'll start, a life you'll change simply by surviving what you're going through right now. That should haunt you in the best way, because you're not just breaking generational patterns for yourself. You're doing it for strangers who will look at you one day and say, "Because of you, I didn't give up." You might feel invisible now. You might feel like no one gets it. But trust this. You are becoming someone people haven't met yet, but will never forget. This is why you don't quit. This is why you rebuild when it feels like nothing is working. Because this path is not just about achievement. It's about alignment. It's about walking through fire so you can become fire. So you can carry that fire into rooms where people have forgotten how to breathe. The truth is, people are always watching, not the ones who like your posts or clap for your success. I'm talking about the silent ones, the ones who notice how you show up without applause, the ones learning from how you rise, how you heal, how you keep going with no guarantee of reward. You're already leading people who haven't even introduced themselves yet. Let that sink in. You're not behind. You're not late. You're becoming. And what you're becoming will be the lifeline for someone else's survival. Your discipline, your loneliness, your detours, they're all part of a future encounter that will change everything for someone who's drowning right now. So when you feel like giving up, remember, they're waiting, not for a version of you that's perfect, not for someone who has it all figured out, but for someone real, someone who's been through hell and came back with light in their hands. That someone is you, and the world is counting on you to make it through this chapter so you can hand the map to the next lost soul. There comes a day, quiet, unexpected, where all the chaos starts forming a pattern, where the pain begins to look like training, the loneliness feels like refinement, the delays start resembling protection. You look back and realize nothing was random. The heartbreaks, the closed doors, the years that felt like waste, they weren't punishments. They were preparation. Brutal, honest, divine preparation. Life wasn't trying to break you. It was shaping you, sharpening you, hollowing out everything that didn't belong so that what does could finally take root. That's when it hits you. You were never lost. You were just in process. The beauty is nothing around you changes at first. Same problems, same pressure, same pace, but you change, and that changes everything because now you're not reacting, you're responding. You're not hoping, you're knowing. And that shift from fear to faith, from doubt to direction, makes you untouchable in a way no resume or status ever could. You realize life doesn't owe you clarity before commitment. That answers come after obedience. That your power was never outside of you. It was just buried under survival. So if today still feels like chaos, keep going. If you're still in the valley, keep walking. If you can't see the pattern yet, trust the design. Because the day is coming. The day when your past will look like prophecy. When your confusion turns into compassion. And when everything that tried to break you becomes the reason someone else finally finds their strength. That day is not a myth. It's real. It's already in motion. And you're closer than you think. There is a strength you carry that nobody can measure. No medal can prove. No crowd can applaud. It's the strength found in silence, the unshakable calm beneath the storm, the resolve that doesn't need spotlight or praise. Most people chase external signs of power, money, status, followers. But the kind of power that changes lives begins inside, invisible to the naked eye. It's in the moments when no one's watching that you decide who you really are. It's in the choices you make when no reward is promised. This quiet strength is forged by hardship and refined by self-awareness. It's a muscle built by saying no to temptation, no to excuses, no to bitterness. It's the grace to accept what cannot be changed and the courage to change what must be. You won't find it in a quick fix or a viral post. You'll find it deep in your bones. In the times you stayed true when you wanted to run, in the moments you gave without expecting, in the nights you wrestled with your doubts and still rose. That's why it's so rare, because it requires a warrior's heart and a sage's mind, combined with a humility few can master. It's not loud. It doesn't boast. It doesn't need to, because when the strength speaks, it commands without words and leads without force. If you cultivate this strength, you become unbreakable, not because life stops challenging you, but because you stop fearing the challenges. You become the calm in the chaos, the anchor in the storm, the light that guides others through darkness. Remember, the world often overlooks this power because it's silent. But those who possess it know its worth, and those who feel its impact never forget. Hold tight to this strength, protect it, nourish it, let it grow quietly within you, because when the time comes, and it will, this strength will find you exactly when you need it most. The most powerful moments don't always announce themselves with fireworks. They often arrive quietly, almost disguised by the noise of everyday life. Knowing how to recognize when your inner strength has found you is essential. It's a subtle shift, not always obvious, but unmistakable once you learn to see it. First, it's a feeling of calm amidst the storm. When everything around you seems chaotic, and your mind races with fear and doubt, this strength manifests as silence in the noise. Your breathing slows, your thoughts settle. You begin to see solutions where before there were only problems. Second, it's a surge of confidence that isn't loud or arrogant, but quiet and firm. It doesn't shout, "I'm ready," but instead whispers, "I can handle this." It's the confidence that comes from knowing you've prepared for this moment, mentally, emotionally, and physically, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Third, it's an unshakable focus. Distractions fade, and you zero in on what truly matters. Your purpose sharpens, your goals become clearer, and you are no longer swayed by every doubt or criticism that crosses your path. This focus acts like a laser, cutting through confusion and hesitation. Fourth, it's resilience in action. When setbacks try to knock you down, you bounce back with a renewed determination. You don't just endure difficulty, you grow stronger because of it. You learn from mistakes instead of being crushed by them. Fifth, it's a sense of alignment with your true self. When your inner strength surfaces, you feel more authentic. Your actions match your values. You stop pretending to be someone you're not and embrace who you truly are. Flaws, strengths, and all. Recognizing these signs takes practice. The world trains us to ignore quiet strength and instead chase flashy success or immediate results. But true power is different. It's patient, persistent, and often invisible until the right moment. So when you feel calm in chaos, confidence without arrogance, focus without distraction, resilience in defeat, and authenticity in every choice, know that your inner strength has found you. And once you recognize it, everything changes. This explains why some people seem to have strength early while others only discover it after years of struggle. It's not about luck or chance. It's about timing, experience, and preparation aligning perfectly. When you finally reach that moment, it feels inevitable, like strength was waiting patiently to join you once you proved you were serious. The key is this: you can't force it. You can only prepare and trust that when you are ready, it will find you. There's something strange that starts to happen when you finally align with your purpose. When your mind is calm and your actions match your words. It's subtle at first, barely noticeable, but then it grows. Patterns emerge. People show up. Ideas arrive at the exact moment you need them. It's as if something or someone is guiding you. Call it what you will: fate, the universe, divine timing, subconscious intelligence. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it feels real. And the more you trust it, the stronger it gets. This invisible hand isn't magic. It's the result of internal order. When your inner world is disciplined, alert, and focused, you begin to notice opportunities others miss. Your brain filters reality differently. What used to look like randomness now looks like signals. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain responsible for attention, becomes your greatest ally. It filters the noise and highlights exactly what you're ready to see. But here's the twist: the hand doesn't guide everyone. It only moves for those who are in motion. If you're idle, indecisive, or distracted, it stays silent. But the moment you commit, not halfway, but fully, it starts clearing paths that didn't even exist before. People will say it's coincidence. You'll know better. There will be moments when you stumble upon the right book, hear a sentence that shifts your perspective, or meet someone who alters your path. Don't brush it off. Pay attention. These are markers, proof that your internal clarity is syncing with the external world. Still, this guidance won't scream. It whispers. It requires silence to hear it, humility to follow it, and courage to act on it. And sometimes it'll test you by making you wait, by challenging your patience, by asking you to trust without evidence. That's the price. But the reward, it's direction, not the kind that hands you a map, but the kind that hands you a compass. It won't walk the road for you. It'll just make sure you're facing the right way. At some point, everything will fall apart. Your plans will crumble. The relationships you leaned on will fade. Your confidence will crack under the weight of disappointment. It will feel like the ground is being ripped from under you. Because it is. Life has no interest in letting you stay in comfort. Not if there's something greater waiting for you on the other side of destruction. You'll try to hold it all together. You'll resist. You'll beg for things to go back to how they were. But the truth is, what you're clinging to might be the very thing that's holding you back. Sometimes the breakdown isn't the enemy. It's the invitation. The most powerful transformations don't happen when you're winning. They happen when you have nothing left. When your identity collapses and you're forced to ask the question, who am I now? That's the beginning of something far more powerful than self-help. It's self-reconstruction. Rock bottom isn't just pain, it's clarity. The noise dies, the opinions fade, and what's left is raw truth. You see who you really are when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one cares. That version of you, that's the foundation. Everything great will be built on that. But here's the catch. Not everyone rises. Some people get stuck in the ruins, addicted to the narrative of victimhood. Others, they decide. They look at the ashes of their old life and say, good, now I'm free. They don't rebuild the same house, they construct a fortress. One brick at a time. with stronger boundaries, sharper awareness, a deeper connection to purpose. There is a version of you on the other side of this pain that's unshakable, not because they avoided the fire, but because they walked through it. Their voice carries more weight, their presence commands more silence, not because they're loud, but because they've earned their quiet. So if your world is breaking right now, let it. Let it burn. Mourn what you lost, but don't forget what it's making room for. You weren't meant to carry everything. You were meant to carry what matters. This isn't the death of your story. It's the part where the hero begins. There's a moment, quiet, internal, and invisible, when something clicks inside you. You stop needing. You stop chasing. You stop begging life, people, and circumstances to validate your worth. You stop waiting to be chosen. Instead, you become the one who chooses. And that moment, though it seems subtle, is seismic. That is the shift. Until then, you walk through life like a beggar at a banquet, craving approval, affection, attention, status. You dress your wounds in ambition and call it progress. You collect followers and achievements, hoping they'll finally silence the voice inside that whispers, "You're not enough." But they never do. The world tells you to manifest the life you want. But manifestation without transformation is delusion. You can't attract what you haven't become. That's the trap. Most people visualize a future self they've never even met, let alone built. But the truth is harsh. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you are. So the shift begins when you stop asking, "How do I get what I want?" and start asking, "Who must I become to deserve it?" And from that point on, everything changes. Your standards rise. Your time becomes sacred. Your energy becomes selective. You stop entertaining people and paths that no longer reflect your evolution. You stop needing motivation. You become discipline. You stop needing love. You become love. You stop needing peace. You become the storm that walks in calm. And here's the paradox. Once you become what you were chasing, it starts chasing you. The people, the respect, the success. They orbit around you without you trying to pull them in. Why? Because people feel energy. And nothing is more magnetic than someone who no longer needs to be seen. But don't be fooled. Becoming isn't glamorous. It's lonely. It's quiet. It's made of long nights, brutal honesty, and walking away from everything that no longer fits the future you've committed to. It's the slow death of the person you thought you had to be, and the resurrection of the one you were always meant to be. So if you feel tired of chasing, maybe that's the signal. Maybe life isn't ignoring you. Maybe it's waiting on you, waiting for the shift. Stop begging for your future. Start building the person who earns it. There's a kind of silence the world runs from. The one that creeps in when your phone stays quiet, when the world seems to forget your name. It's not loneliness, it's solitude. And while it feels like punishment, it's actually preparation. Most drown it in noise. But those who face it, they meet themselves for the first time. In solitude, there are no masks, no applause, just the mirror of truth. It shows your fears, your patterns, your potential, and it dares you to choose, avoid it, or evolve. This is where transformation begins, not in noise, not in crowds, but in silence. Alone is where the strong are built. If you've been pulled into isolation lately, don't resist, don't numb it. Listen to it, because sometimes the silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. There comes a moment, subtle, silent, when the weight of the world feels heavier than usual, not louder, just heavier. And you don't tell anyone because people assume you're strong. And you are. But strength doesn't mean you don't bleed quietly. It just means you've learned how to hide the stains. This is where most people give up or distract themselves. But not you. You're here for something deeper. The discomfort you feel, it's the signal. Growth never knocks politely. It kicks the door in. And if you listen, truly listen, this moment, this quiet collapse, is the beginning of your rise. You're not lost. You're being rerouted. The silence, the pain, the confusion. All of it is asking one thing from you. Stay. Stay a little longer. Stay in the discomfort. Stay in the fire. Because what's forged in fire cannot be broken in rain. You are not here to escape life. You're here to face it, fully awake. You ever notice how, right before something big changes, everything falls apart? Relationships strain, motivation dies, doubt creeps in. It's not a coincidence, it's a test. Life doesn't hand over breakthroughs to the comfortable. It waits, watches, and asks, "Are you really ready?" See, everyone wants the reward, but few are willing to wrestle with the storm that guards it. This moment you're in, it's the storm, and it's not here to break you. It's here to reveal you, to strip away what's not real, to confront the illusions. You thought you needed approval? Number. You thought you needed certainty? Number, you only need clarity of who you are and what you will no longer tolerate. When the storm ends, the world will still be there, but you'll be different, and that difference will be undeniable. People will feel it. You'll feel it. You'll walk into rooms and something will shift, not because you said something, but because you endured something. Most people think the turning point comes with some dramatic event, a big win, a powerful speech, a lucky break. But no, the real turning point happens when you're alone, when no one's watching, when quitting would be easy and no one would blame you. That's when it counts. That's when it becomes real. See, transformation doesn't make noise. It's silent. It happens in the small moments. When you choose to keep going despite the ache. When you decide to believe in yourself when nothing around you gives you a reason to. That's where strength is born. In secret. So when you feel like nothing is happening, when progress feels invisible, understand this. You are changing. You are becoming. And one day soon, the world will see what you already know deep down, that you were never weak. You were just waiting for the fire inside you. They told you to be realistic, to play it safe, to follow the rules. But the truth is, the life you want will never be found in the comfort zone. No one changed the world by playing it safe. And you weren't born to blend in. There's a voice inside you that's been whispering since the beginning that you're meant for more. Not more comfort, more purpose, more fire, more truth. And every time you ignored that voice, a part of you went quiet. But it never died. It waited for the day you'd be ready. For the day you'd stop asking for permission. That day is today. Because here's the truth. If you don't build your own path, you'll end up lost on someone else's. You weren't made to be small. You were made to be undeniable. And the moment you stop apologizing for that is the moment the world starts to notice. When you finally understand that the answers you seek are not hidden in the noise around you, but reside quietly within, your whole perspective changes. The universe doesn't send signs with flashy lights or dramatic moments. It whispers. It's that subtle nudge, the quiet pull on your soul. guiding you when you're ready to listen. Most people miss this because they're too busy searching outside in the chaos of distractions, expecting miracles to announce themselves loudly. But the truth is, what you need will find you when you've done the inner work, when your mind is clear and your heart is aligned. This isn't just spiritual fluff. It's a universal law. Like gravity, it operates silently but with absolute certainty. The key is patience and trust. Trust that even when nothing seems to be happening, something is brewing beneath the surface. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your true purpose, everything begins to converge. Doors open, people appear, opportunities knock, exactly when you need them most. And that's not coincidence. That's cause and effect working behind the scenes. But this process demands more than just waiting. It requires a deep commitment to growth, to confront your fears, to shed limiting beliefs, and to embrace discomfort as a necessary step forward. When you start showing up fully for yourself, your energy changes. It shifts from desperate searching to calm confidence. This shift sends out signals to the world, signals that attract what aligns with your highest good. It's like tuning a radio. Once you hit the right frequency, the static clears and the right station comes through crystal clear. Many give up too soon because they expect instant results. So keep showing up. Keep trusting the process. Your moment is on its way. And when that moment finally arrives, the one you've been waiting for, the one that feels like destiny knocking at your door, you'll realize it was never about luck or chance. It was about your persistence, your patience, and your refusal to settle for less than you deserve. Life's way of rewarding those who prepare quietly, who keep grinding when no one is watching. So trust this, what you truly need will find you, exactly when you need it most. But only if you refuse to stop moving forward. Only if you stay ready, because the universe doesn't just give out blessings, it gives them to those who have earned them. This is your moment. Own it, like a dark horse.